everybody, so we're going to do a review on this here guitar of mine. It's the Breedlove Pursuit Concert. It is about 2 years old, over 2 years old, and so it's got some mileage on it, but you'll get a review of how it's performed over those 2 years, which I must say is quite well. It's held up. Got a few beauty marks on it, but it looks great. I just put new strings on it and polished it up and got it looking good for this year review. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the headstock up here. We have the Breedlove abalone inlay here, the Breedlove logo, which is nice, and then the headstock, mahogany, and it's got a cool shape to it. It's like a shark fin or a chipped shark tooth. But it looks awesome, and added bonus is I'm able to hold the capo on there. I like being able to do that. I store my capo. And then the tuning wheels or paddles, however you call them, they are actually a little bit smaller than what I've noticed, and I think that's great. It feels good when I'm tuning up the strings or putting new strings on. Everything's tight. The tuning pegs. The tuning itself it stays well in tune, which is awesome. So going down to the nut here, I believe it's plastic, and it has held up. It hasn't fallen out or broke at all. The frets, I'm starting to get a little bit of wear on them after about 2 years now, and they're holding up though. I'm not getting any buzz or rattle or anything like that. The action, I must say, from the time I opened it out of the box, and it comes with a gig bag, the action was perfect from the factory. Everything about it, haven't had to adjust it. It does have an adjustment for the truss rod under here with an Allen wrench, and but it's holding up quite nice. So good action on it. It's low. So going down the frets here, we have a fretboard that's composed of ovinkal wood. So it looks like it's a little more lighter colored than rosewood, which seems to be more common on fretboards. Rosewood or ebony is the darker one. But I did some homework on the Breedlove website. This is ovinkal fretboard. One of the only drawbacks, in my opinion, is the tiny abalone inlay on the we can see right here, the two on the 12th fret on the fret dots. So they're really small. I would have liked them a little bit bigger, but for the price point, I mean, it's they're there, they work. You get the dots up here as well, the nice black binding. The frets are smooth, the neck is smooth. Note about the neck too is that it is a V-shaped neck, which I haven't had before until I got this guitar. So it's got the V, kind of a V shape to it as opposed to a C shape. So it took a little getting used to, but I really like it. They did a great job with just how polished it is and how smooth the neck is. It's mahogany. So the neck's beautiful on this. And moving down, it's got this the strap knob here that comes stock. You don't have to have that installed afterwards. I prefer this method of installing it as opposed to having it installed here, which it feels like the guitar wants to fall away from your body. When you have it installed on the back, it wants to kind of move away from you. And then if you have your strap tied into the neck, if you let go at all, the guitar wants to kind of swing up on you. But when you have it installed here, you can take your hands off the guitar and it'll just stay in place for the most part. So that's a big plus for me. I like that. So moving down, we have the sound hole here with a nice abalone inlay. Just a nice little touch there. I myself bought this clear pick guard for about, I think, 20 bucks, 25 bucks on the Breedlove website, and just stuck it on there myself. But as you can see, it can't cover everything, so I do have a little wear going on right here, but that's kind of cool, just beauty marks. It's holding up. So a neat feature down here is the pinless bridge. I really enjoy that. Typically when you have the pins and you're changing your strings, they like to fall off the couch and go like 5 miles underneath the couch, and you have a hard time finding them and all that. So I just slide the string in there and there's no pins. So that's super cool. First guitar that I've had with that on this rosewood bridge here. A neat feature about this is Breedlove has a patented bridge truss system. So there's actually a mechanism under here that you can't see, where there's a rod in there that you can adjust, and it keeps the bridge from pulling so hard away from the top here. So it's made in a way that it kind of secures the bridge. So that's a neat feature, because I have seen guitars where the bridge has had a tendency to pull away over time, and so they've come up with a way to prevent that. So that's a huge bonus right there. And then the top here, it's a nice gloss. It's a red cedar gloss finish. Again, I got some marks on it here, but it doesn't affect the tone, I hope. So, and then the binding here, it's got like a racing stripe inside this black binding on the front. On the back side, it's just solid black right here. On the back, we have a mahogany back, mahogany sides, and I think those are like laminate, layered laminate for the price point. And then the top, I believe, is solid cedar, and the top is really cool. I like the color of that. Moving on to the electronics here, it's got a preamp, 2-band EQ, bass and treble, phase reverse for busting the feedback, so you don't have feedback, which I must say that it hasn't had any issues with feedback. So really, I kind of use it for a tone control in a way. When I have the button pressed in, I seem to get more of a low end response, like a little more low and warmth sound, and then when I have it out, it gets a little more chimey sounding, and but I like to keep it pushed in. But it's not really made for tone, it's made for busting the feedback, but I haven't had that issue, so that's awesome. It has a built-in tuner here. You can see right there, got the tuner going. Got my pick up here, so that's messing with it. But anyway, it's a LCD display right here, and it works well. It took me a little getting used to with the tuner. The only drawback is the indicators on it. There's only 3. There's the green for when you're in tune, and then red to the right when you're sharp, and then red to the left when you're flat. So there's only like 3 points of indication that it's in tune or out of tune. And so it took a little getting used to that, but it works, and I like having an onboard tuner. So, and then moving down here, we have the TRS input, the 1/4-inch input, standard. USB port for plugging into your computer and recording. I can't say I've honestly used that, but it's there. It's a neat feature. And then you have your battery compartment here for your 9-volt battery, which I highly recommend using quality batteries. I've noticed with cheaper batteries that sometimes they're a different size. So I've had larger batteries that I've tried to put in, and I had a hard time closing the compartment on here, and I didn't want to force it because I felt like I would break it. So when I use Duracell or Energizer, it would fit perfectly, and they work great. So I highly recommend using a quality battery on that. So overall, beautiful guitar. I love playing it. I keep it hung up on the wall in there, and I play it daily, and it's held up strong for 2 years. So we're gonna go ahead and listen to some sounds from it. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. Start with a little finger picking. So that's how it sounds with the lower registers. Let's go ahead and capo up pretty high and see how it sounds up high. All right, with little bar chords. All right, and then let's go ahead and play up bar chords up high. And then some finger picking. All right, so there you have it. Hopefully that was helpful for you in deciding your destination for your guitar purchasing journey. I picked this guitar about 2 years ago, and it sounds great. The Breedlove Pursuit Concert. It's got the concert body style, which tends to be a little bit smaller, which is nice. It's still pretty thick here, so you get a good projection of sound and tone from it. And it's a lovely guitar, about a $500 price point, and it's a great guitar for beginner to intermediate or even advanced. It sounds quite well. So there you have it, the Breedlove Pursuit Concert. Thanks, guys.